95% of RIA firms are now using AI. In fact, 82% of them have formal AI policies already in place, and nearly half of all advisory firms are deploying AI for administrative tasks. So what are the different types of AI? What even is AI, and what can you do right now to get ahead of your competition using this technology? We're going to jump into our brand new series, AI 101 for Advisors, that starts right now. Hi, I'm Jon Cook. I'm the founder of Keynote Content. We help advisory firms scale their practices through thought leadership and technology. And I've personally connected with over 1,600 advisors one-on-one through LinkedIn, conferences, Zoom calls, coffee meetings, or hallway meetings over the past 2 years. One of the biggest topics right now is AI. And what I've learned is that most advisors, at least the ones that I've talked with, have far more questions than answers about AI and how it can benefit their firm. Now, you've seen ChatGPT. You know that AI exists. And the real question, of course, isn't what AI stands for. You already know what AI stands for. It's what can AI do for your advisory business? But you also want to know that there's enough traction, wide enough adoption inside the advisory space, because the last thing that you need is to invest in some new technology that's purely speculative, doesn't actually lead to ROI. Well, let's talk about AI adoption stats. So how many advisors are actually using AI inside their businesses? Well, according to F2 Strategies 2025 AI Trends Report, 95% of RIA firms are now using AI. That's 4 times the adoption rate of bank and trust companies. Schwab came out with their 2025 RIA benchmarking study, and they surveyed over 1,200 firms that represented $2.4 trillion in assets and found that 68% of firms report using AI, with the top performers at 74%. So where are these firms using this technology? Well, 43% of firms are using AI for administrative support, such as note-taking and meetings and emails. 38% though are using AI for marketing content. 31% are using AI for client correspondence. And 82% of firms now have a formal AI policy in place, which is almost double the 47% of firms in 2024. Now, our industry has shifted past should we use AI to the point of saying how do we use AI effectively? Because the reality is that your competitors are using AI. The question is whether they're using it well and whether you're falling behind. As you well know though, that buying a product or program or some piece of software, it doesn't equal mastery. You can still waste time with AI tools. You can have a formal policy and still deploy AI in all the wrong places and spaces. And while talking with that many advisors, I noticed this pattern. The ones who are struggling with AI, the ones who are asking, what tool should I buy? But the ones who are succeeding are asking, what are we trying to solve? And that's why I'm doing this AI 101 series for advisors, to help you deploy AI strategically with what I call a top-down approach that keeps your core message in the human side of what you do as an advisory team, keeping that intact. Now we need to talk about distinguishing between AI and automation. They are not the same. So what's the difference? Automation follows fixed rules. It's an if this then that type of system. For engineering, for software, very much an if this then that. So if a client fills out this form, it automatically sends them this email. That's automation. It doesn't think, it doesn't adapt, it just follows the script that you gave it. And it waits for some type of trigger, usually a human-directed trigger, to activate. But on the other side of things, AI learns from data and adapts to context. It doesn't just simply follow rules, it makes contextually smart decisions within these guardrails that you set as the owner of that technology. And automation occurs when your CRM automatically sends, let's say, a birthday email to every client on their birthday. It's the same email every time. That's automation, doesn't change. But a great AI assistant can read your past client emails. It can understand your tone and your style and then draft this personalized birthday email for each client based on your recent conversations. It adapts, it learns, it makes the decisions within the guardrails that you're set. That's the difference. And most advisors that I've met, they don't actually need purely AI-driven solutions. They usually need solid automations with some AI capabilities. So AI can take this a step further by adding intelligence and context and adaptability. The day is fast approaching though when you will need AI and automations. You already need automations to some extent to be able to handle the repetitive, predictable tasks, and you'll soon need AI to handle the tasks that require context and nuance and decision making. There's value in both of these, but what are the different types of AI that can benefit advisors you can stack on top of these automations? There are 3 main types of AI that needs to fit inside your tech stack. Every product, every program that you invest in needs to either help you work better, think better, or create better. Now, don't let the names fool you. There is tremendous power in leveraging the right tools in each of these categories going to help you break it down one by one. Let's take a look at the first type of AI, work AI. This is the first category. These are repetitive, predictable tasks that eat up your time, but they don't require a lot of brain power. I call these Quadrant 3 tasks, and I created another video that reviews each of the 4 quadrants of work for a financial advisor and how to escape Quadrant 3 using AI. So the link to that video is in the description below if you want to watch that next. But work AI is AI that schedules meetings, it syncs your CRM, it collects documents, it transcribes client calls, and it generates compliance reports. This is all the operational work that keeps you stuck in Quadrant 3. And if you've already seen my video on the 4 quadrants of financial advisors and AI, you know that Quadrant 3 is where advisors get trapped. The average advisor spends 40% of their time on manual work that doesn't actually build relationships, grow AUM, or increase your firm's value. Work AI gets you out of that Quadrant 3 trap. AI note takers like Jump, FinMake, Zox, Fathom, Focal, Fireflies, pick any of those. They can transcribe your meetings and then be able to sync those notes automatically into your CRM. So if you use Wealthbox, Redtail, Salesforce, whatever it might be, you can be able to have your notes automatically transcribe and match up inside your CRM. Scheduling tools like Calendly, Acuity, Appointment Core, pick any of those. They can eliminate this back and forth email ping pong. Are you available on Tuesday? Not Tuesday, how about Wednesday? It eliminates all that. Here's the link, schedule time that works for you. Document collection. This workflow can automatically request, remind, and confirm the receipt of certain client documents. Now, the goal of Work AI isn't to replace you, it's to reclaim 10, 15, 20 hours of your week so you can spend more time with clients and less time buried in this administrative busy work. That's Work AI. Now let's go to the second category, Think AI. Think AI processes data to surface these insights that you maybe miss on your own or maybe take hours to find if you do this manually. So what are some examples of Think AI? Portfolio optimization. These can run hundreds of scenarios simultaneously. Risk modeling software that identifies vulnerabilities inside one of your clients' financial plans. Client segmentation tools that show you which clients are most profitable, most at risk, or ready for additional services. Planning software, you're very familiar with eMoney, Holistic Plan, Right Capital, Anaplan, so many more that surfaces these strategic opportunities that you might miss manually. The goal of Think AI isn't to replace your judgment, it's to give you superpowers so you can think better, faster, and more efficiently with the right tools. That brings us to our third category, Create AI. This is the type of AI capabilities that generate content so you can scale your message, your communication, without losing the human touch of what you do. This is AI that drafts client emails, it writes meeting summaries, it creates LinkedIn posts, video scripts, it market updates, it personalizes it and helps you communicate more effectively with less manual effort. Now, one concern that I hear from many advisors is they say, John, I don't want AI writing for me. It sounds like a robot. And you're absolutely right. The problem that most advisors run into is that they use these generic AI tools and these prompts and they wonder why it sounds, well, you guessed it, generic. What the top advisors are doing differently is that they're training AI on their proprietary methodology, on their books, their frameworks, their client processes, their website, their origin story, all this IP that makes them different. And when you do that, AI doesn't sound like a robot, it sounds like you. So what are some examples of this? This includes creating these custom GPTs, these Claude projects that are trained on your intellectual property. These AI note takers can take your methodology, can be able to put it inside client notes, and then you can feed those notes into an ecosystem that turns those notes and that into frameworks that's scalable thought leadership. The goal of Create AI isn't to just churn out faster and faster content. No, it's fast, cheap content. Nobody wants that. Nobody's asked for that. It's to scale your unique voice, your client methodology in a way that makes sense to the people that you want to work with, people that you want to serve, so they say this sounds different, so you can build actual industry authority instead of sound like everybody else. Far too many advisors just sound like parrots. We don't need more parrots in the advisory space. We need advisors who can own their voice and be able to speak with conviction. So that's what it is. Work, think, create. These 3 buckets. Every AI tool that you encounter needs to fit into one of these 3 categories. Work AI automates these tasks so you can reclaim your time. Think AI, it processes data with you so you can make smarter, faster, better decisions. Create AI, this generates content so you can scale your communication. Now, you don't need to implement all of this information I'm sharing with you right now. You don't have to do this tomorrow. Simply knowing these 3 categories will automatically put you ahead of other firms who are still wondering, should we use AI, should we not use AI? So how do you use this framework? When you're evaluating an AI tool, ask yourself, does this help me work better, think better, or create better? And if the answer is none of the above, you don't need it. That's just shelfware, that's vaporware, it doesn't actually serve you. But if the answer is all three of those, if you're working with an vendor and they say, oh, my product can do all three of those, it can help you work better, create better, and think better, they're probably lying to you. Every tool needs to do at least one of those three things well, maybe two of those three, know what that does, know what the outcome is supposed to be, and then deploy accordingly. What most advisors that I've met with, what they don't realize is that every work AI product or program, whatever it might be, should free up more time so that you can build your industry authority. So you can position yourself as this trusted voice to the right type of audience and elevate your differentiation so you stand out from the competition. That's the whole goal of this. It's not to just add more to your tech stack, but saying, so I can do what? So you can build the firm that you dreamed of. So you can be able to mentor more of your junior advisors. So you can be able to get in front of more audiences on stages or podcasts, on the screen, whatnot. So you can be able to create the lifestyle that you want, to be able to spend time with your grandkids, to go play a round of golf, to be able to go after whatever deep sea fish you want to go after, or just simply to take a nap, whatever it might be, to allow you to be able to create the firm that you envisioned when you first became an advisor. That's the whole goal of this. And the long-term value of implementing AI well throughout your firm is that it also demonstrates scalability to future buyers, because you will exit your advisor business at some point, whether that's by default or by design. And firms with documented AI systems, with these formal policies and these technology-forward operations, they can command higher valuations because they prove that the business can run without you. The systems are there to be able to scale at notice. Whether you're building towards scale or you're positioning for some type of exit, AI systems in place signal to the right buyers that you have operational maturity. And if you found this helpful, hit subscribe for more videos in my AI 101 for Advisors series to help you scale your business the way that you want through thought leadership and technology. One of the questions that I've been asked the most over the past 6 months is, John, will AI replace me as a financial advisor? Where I created another video that dives deep into that question in detail and addresses the fear, the reality, and what it means for your practice moving forward. Hit play on this next video. I'll see you on the other side.